Hello dear students, welcome back to the discussion of NEWSPAP dated 29th August 2024 Thursday. I hope you are doing good and you are happy, and first of all thank you all for the overwhelming responses that we have received for this particular NEWSPAP initiative. So yesterday we started making the content and delivering the content in English language, English medium, so that this will get more reach, and also my students from different parts of the country, from North India and also some states from the South India, non-Keralites basically, they will also be benefited out of this. So I hope you are enjoying this particular initiative, you are getting benefited out of this initiative. Please do let me know in the comment section. Please do spread happiness. Please do let us know what you're feeling about this initiative. And three things before starting today's discussion. I will take a little bit time. First thing is that we want your support for this channel. So please do support this channel by subscribing, by sharing the content and liking the video. And the second thing is regarding the material that you would be seeing in the screen. So that material is accessible for you for free of cost. It is accessible from my Telegram channel, and for the link for the same will be provided in the description. And the third thing, we are giving the timestamp, the chapter wise timestamp in the video in the description we are giving, so that if you want to go through some specific chapters, some specific parts of today's discussion, maybe not today but after some time, you are feeling that for any purpose, if you are required to go through those particular part, so then it's very easy for you to come back to this playlist, see the video, you will be seeing the chapters. Okay, then for that purpose also we have created this particular chapter wise, or the timestamp also we have provided. So these three things, please support the channel, the material from where it will be available, and also the timestamp thing. So here we go for today's discussion. The first article is coming with regard to Russia. India and Russia sign a working plan to handle emergencies. So from the first stance itself, see, this is an article from with regard to India and Russia. So this particular article you can use it as an example whenever you are writing about India-Russia relationship and you want to prove that India is having a strong holding relationship with Russia. So for that you can use this particular news as an example. So this is an pact they have signed in order to work in handling emergencies, coordinated and collaborated efforts in handling emergencies. So as I said, this is an article, you can use it as an example. You will not be getting a direct question from this regarding this article I am talking, but you will get a question on India-Russia relationship, you may get a question. So there you can use this as an example, and this initiative is for disaster management or handling emergencies. So now let's have look into some more details of this. And for this was signed for the period 25 to 26, and what we are going to with this, we will be sharing, both the countries Russia and India will be sharing the best practices in disaster management, using technology for risk forecasting, improving training for fire and rescue specialists. So everything comes under one heading, that is disaster management. So India, we know recently a lot of disasters are happening, and very unexpected way it is happening. It is going beyond our predictions, our forecasting. So we need a technology oriented, and also we need to train some specialist in handling fire and rescue or some flood related activities. So wherever we want some rescue specialists, so that also we will be going to collaborate with Russia. So I told you this particular article is a piece of information that you can use as an example in the India-Russia relationship. And the purpose of the agreement, as I already told, sharing the best practices and the key areas of cooperation. The first one, space monitoring technologies, which can be used for forecasting risk. We are going to share experiencing the experience exchange. So like both the countries must have had lot of disasters, they have encountered lot of disasters, so they have experiences in combating these disasters or overcoming these disasters. So we want to share these experiences between these two countries, India and Russia. And the next thing, training is one among the factor. We have to train the people, the human resource, and also the future plans of this particular pact that we have signed is with regard to capacity building in emergency preparedness, prevention and response and planning. So this is about this article. The thing you should understand, between India and Russia we have signed a pact which will have impact on the disaster management of both the countries and sharing the best practices of disaster management. And technical terms is given end of every article wherever it's applicable, so it's for you to enrich your vocabulary of your subject specific vocabulary, so you can take a note of it. Now comes the next article. See, this bail is something which have repeatedly appeared in the newspaper since 2 to 3 months, right from the matter of Arvind Kejriwal and from Sisodia, and now with regard to the Jharkhand CM. So this bail, the concept of bail is being continuously discussed in the newspaper. It is discussed in the newspaper means it is many a times mentioned and many times came into discussion in the courts. So here this article is talking jail is exemption, bail is the norm even in money laundering case. So the court is telling, see, jail is not something that is by default the person should go. Jail is exemption. What is by default? Bail is the norm. Why bail is the norm? Because it comes under the Article 21. Your dignity, the Article 21 talks about right to life. So bail is actually having some implications on Article 21. So jail is an exemption, but bail, so normally the courts, the lower courts, many times they have went back in giving bails in many cases. So that's why the Supreme Court many times has observed this and told the courts that no, this bail holding should not be done unnecessarily. So this is the article about. Now let's see what it talks about, and you can link it to the UPSC prelims perspective. Why? Because there is an concept of fundamental right involved. So the Supreme Court of India said that even in the case of money laundering, that granting bail should be the norm and imprisonment should be an exemption case. Why? Because this is something called, is a part of personal liberty, the fundamental right of Article 21. And there is a section of Prevention of Money Laundering Act which is mentioned in this article, that is section 45 of PMLA. So in the prelims perspective, you may expect a question on what is section 45 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So section 45 says that for the accused, there should be reasonable grounds to believe that the accused is prima facie innocent. The accused should not commit any crime while on bail. So this is the provision. So for the prelims, you should learn this, what exactly the section 45 of the PMLA Act says. And the court clarified that, see, this condition does not make it extremely difficult to get bail and should not be used to unfairly deny bail. You can see the section 45, it sounds like very, very rigid. But again the court is telling, see, saying the section 45, you can't deny the bail because bail is something related to Article 21, and so that's up. So this case has evolved, like I already told, right from the Manish Sisodia case, Arvind Kejriwal case, all this have been in discussion, and you can expect a question in the upcoming prelims also. And court also mentioned something, that right against self-incrimination. So what is this right against self-incrimination means? See, I should not be witness for my own case. So what happens if I am arrested for one case, then the other cases, since I am under the custody of the police, so they will try to do some self-incriminatory statement upon some other case. So this should not happen. For all these reasons, bail is something that should not be held unnecessarily. Okay. And see, this is a fundamental right also. Right against self-incrimination is a fundamental right under Article 23. This also you should be taken care from the prelims perspective. So from this article we have discussed that court said, see, jail is exceptional, but the bail is something that you should not hold upon. So the bail which have been discussed many a times in the in many contexts. You have to take care of that, and also the section 45 of the PMLA Act, and also there is one fundamental right, that is Article 21. All this bail related discussions having some reflections on the Article 21. So the next article, India signs repeat order of 73,000 SIG 716 rifles. So this is also an article which can be linked to multiple dimensions. The first one, the India-US relationship. This is an example how we are depending, how we are seeking assistance from the US in order to modernize the Indian defense sector. So the next one is the modernizing Indian defense sector. So, and I told you this also you can write as an example on whenever you are getting a question on India-US relationship. You can write this, that recently we have signed a new contract with one of the US manufacturer, 6 for, that is not important, you can just write US manufacturer for 73,000 SIG 716 assault rifles. So this is an example that we are trusting US, we are having a good relationship, we are taking assistance, we are taking help from the manufacturer, US manufacturer, for modernizing our own defense technology. Okay, and this particular SIG 716 assault, this will be replacing our INSAS rifle which we are currently in use. So this is the article about, I told you, you can use it in the as an example whenever you are writing with regard to India-US relationship. This is a new development, not a new development, but again we are going for this deal. We already had, and again we are going for this deal, which means that obviously US, the companies of the US, it's having some stakehold in modernizing the Indian technology. So this is about this particular article, and why this SIG 716 rifles have been getting recognition. Why? Because it has proved very effective in the counter insurgency operations, and you know in the country we are facing a lot of challenges in these days, especially in the border areas. So for that reason also, for our internal security reason also, this deal is something which is important. So what you should exactly understand from this article, it is that one thing, how India-US relationship is much bonded, we could say, and how the US company, here we put one example, this company is contributing to the modernization of the Indian equipments, Indian defense equipments. And why we are going for this advanced technology? Why? Because we have a lot of challenges here, and this these equipments have proved this efficiency also. So this is about this article. Now going to the next article, which is a very important article. Why? Because this is talking about one concept which is financial inclusion. If you go through your prelim syllabus, you could see the exact word in the syllabus, financial inclusion. So Jan Dhan Yojana scheme, it completed 10 years. So the article is regarding that. So I have to see what is this Jan Dhan Yojana scheme and why it is important. So Jan Dhan Yojana scheme is a scheme for financial inclusion scheme. It has completed 10 years and it has contributed to the financial inclusion, empowerment and economic participation, especially the women, and that too in the rural and semi-urban areas. So now let's see what are the features of this particular scheme, PMJDY. Very important, because financial inclusion is an important topic for UPSC, and this PMJDY completed 10 years also. So it marked 10th anniversary. The objective of this was to empowering dignity and making economic participation of all sections of society, especially the women society, and that too regardless of the area, whether it is rural or urban, regardless of the area. And there are some good facts given here. So this fact you can use whenever you are getting a question on this particular PMJDY. Okay, don't forget to put this fact. See, talking about the numbers, 53 crore people have opened bank accounts under PMJDY. And in that 53 crore people, there are people who never imagined they would be having a bank account, and total deposit in this accounts exceeded rupees 2.3 lakh crore, and also 65% of this account are from rural and semi-urban areas. So this data, this fact this data proves that PMJDY has enabled the financial inclusion in the country. So this data, you have to use it. There are many more data also regarding how much the direct benefit transfer have happened. It was regarding 39 lakh crore, and also it impact on the women, it empowered the women. 30 crore women has brought into this banking system, and financial independence of women, this has also boosted. So in this way it has contributed to the empowerment of women also. And not the last but not the least, SC category, ST category, OBC have also gained financial services and support. So in all this way, the women empowerment, SC, ST, OBC, and in the rural, semi-urban areas, the inclusion, this is called inclusion. Everyone, regardless of the area, regardless of where they are staying, what is their social status, they are becoming part of the financial system. This is called financial inclusion, and this scheme PMJDY is contributing to it. So that was the article about. So, and there is something called JAM Trinity. So PMJDY is a one component of this JAM Trinity. JAM Trinity means three, that is Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile. So this three is part of JAM Trinity, and here I have given the details of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana again. So you can just go through it. 2014 it started. The objective is promoting financial inclusion, then facilitates direct benefit transfers, and eligibility for this, he must be an Indian citizen. Okay, it should any resident cannot avail it. He should be a citizen. This is important for prelims. And age 80 to 59 years. And Jan Dhan account can be opened at any bank, branch or business. Then debit card scheme highlights no minimum balance, and then overdraft facilities also there up to rupees 10,000. And coverage focus 66.6% will be in semi-urban area, and 55.6 account holders are women. So these are the data. I am telling you, if you are using this data in your answers, that is going to give you more and more marks. So this year mains writing students, please take care of this data, which will help you. And I am giving you this material, you can use this. And also technical terms are explained here. What is financial inclusion, what is JAM Trinity. So this definition, financial inclusion, you can take it in your note, because financial inclusion is there in the syllabus directly. So you have to know the definition of it. Any definition you can write it. So here it is. So what did this article talk about? It talked about the 10 years it completed the scheme, and it contributed to the financial inclusion of the country, empowered the women, empowered the OBC, empowered the ST, empowered the SC, regardless of the area, whether it, and that too, the financial inclusion happened even from the rural and semi-urban areas. So that was the article about. And now let's go to the next article, which talks Union Cabinet redesigns Agri Infra Fund to cover FPO. So this Agri Infra Fund is something that we have to look into, because agriculture is something, it's a very favorite area of the UPSC, and for that reason we should know why this Agriculture Infrastructure Fund was constituted. And Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, now the new provision is that it is trying to support the farmer producer organizations also. And talking more about this Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, you should know why it was established, what is the purpose, whether it is a central sector scheme or centrally sponsored scheme. All these are important for prelims. It is a central sector scheme, and the scheme will run from 2020 to 2032, and medium to long term debt financing for investment in viable projects related to post harvest management infrastructure. This is very important, post harvest management system. Why? Because after the harvesting, due to the lack of enough storage facility, the delay in transportation, we have wasted lot of harvested results or the fruits that we have beared from this agriculture. So this is something we have to take much into serious, and for that reason, the major objective of this Agriculture Infrastructure Fund is boosting the infrastructure for post harvest management. And eligible entities will include farmers, farmer producers organization, primary agricultural credit societies, self-help group, joint liability groups, agri entrepreneur startups, and central state agencies. And talking about the financial details, total 1 lakh crore is provided by banks and financial institutions as loans, and interest subvention is 3% per annum. And all these are the details regarding the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. So what was the main objective? Post harvest management system, post-harvest infrastructure, the storage, the transport, for everything we need this particular agriculture infrastructure fund. The news was there. The fund is being now more expanded, including farmer producer organization also. So what are these farmer producer organization? These are the groups formed by farmers to enhance their collective bargaining power, improve market access and share resources. So unity, if the people come into a group, it will have more result. They can have a collective bargaining, they will not be exploited. So these are the objectives of the farmer producer organizations, and the news was that agriculture infrastructure fund that is expanded to farmer producer organizations also. So I hope you understood what is farmer producer organization and also agricultural infrastructure fund, what it is and for what it is being used. So dear students, dear aspirants, I hope you are happy, you are having a good time. Please do spread happiness in the comment box. Let me see how many of you are happy. And here we go with the next article. Further transmission of Chandipura virus possible in coming weeks, wants WHO. So this Chandipura virus in 1916, it was first reported in Maharashtra, and from there it is now becoming a concern, and even WHO has announced that the current Chandipura virus outbreak in India is the largest since the last 20 years. So now let's have a quick look on this virus, how this virus will be. So it was first in Maharashtra, as I said, a village in Nagpur in 1965. It was first reported, and it is how it is transmitted. It was transmitted by humans, by sandflies that breed in small dark cervix and Krakow houses. And the virus was not considered to have an epidemic potential until an outbreak occurred among children in Andhra Pradesh in 2003. And the major problem, the major risk is that it will progress very rapidly. This is one among the challenge of this particular disease. And the transmissions, how it is transmitted, this is very important. It is transmitted by sandflies, mosquitoes and ticks. Then risk of spread, it is especially during the monsoon season. Which is a very favorable for these vector populations to grow. So this is about the Chandipura virus. I said the history in little bit. It was started from Maharashtra, and now WHO is putting the concern, and they are also telling travel and trade has to be some restrictions, and surveillance also need to be more strengthened. So this is what WHO is saying about the Chandipura virus. I said how it is being transmitted, from humans only it is being transmitted. The next article, wanted a strategy to turn climate research into disaster management. A very good article. See, this article is talking about the inefficiency of our studies, the researches we are conducting, converting them into the practical phase. There are a lot of researches we have did, there are a lot of studies we have did, but we are failing in putting into the practicality. Why? Because India needs these researchers to be put into the practicality. Why? Because India is facing a lot of disaster risks, and especially in the northern, in the central India, lands, whether it is in the form of landslides. Recently in the Wayanad also we saw. So we need that researchers into put into practical. So this article is talking about that, and you can link it to the disaster management part. So climate research in India, that from academic papers and PhDs, we have to go to application of this particular thing, that is this article is talking about. A very good article on disaster management perspective. And the current situation in India, we know heat waves which impacted the entire sector, the entire population of the country in the recent past, and weather extremities we are experiencing now. And the NDMA also, they have a knowledge gap, the practical application, there is a knowledge gap in it. So all the researchers, all the PhD or whatever it may be, that has to be put into the practical, that has to be used for this mitigation purposes. And example of how this can be used, irrigation advisories. As irrigation advisories we can use it, as urban flood prediction system, because in all these researches they have devised multiple ways for it. So now put into the practicality. So that is this article is talking about. And the capacity building is also needed. We have to develop skills, we have to develop people, we have to develop human resource, that too in local languages. This is very important, a good suggestion. Why? Because then only we could understand, the better understanding of disaster management. Develop skills in local languages and cultural understanding for better disaster management. So even the common men in the local language, teach them the way of disaster management, how they can do the initial combating all these things. So this is about this article. So this article talked about the disaster management in India and the need of putting the researchers, the doctorate, whatever the papers they have studied, whatever presented, all these research should be put into the practicality in filling the knowledge gap that even the National Disaster Management Authority is having, and India is witnessing a very unpredictable way of disaster happenings in the country. So this is the need of the hour. So now comes the next article, which talks about war and peace. India is not well placed to broker a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. So they say, we visited both Russia and Ukraine, but this article is telling, see, India cannot take a mediator role. Why? Because India is always having more interest towards Russia. That was very evident. For the first time, we went to, normally we have a tradition that we will be visiting the neighboring countries after one government is got into the power. But now, this time, he went to Russia. So that itself is showing we are having some more interest, because we have defense deals, we have economic ties, but Ukraine is comparatively a small country. So for a country like India, we have more interest towards Russia. We are not a right mediator for this. This is the article is talking about. But India can plan, India can mediate. How? India can mediate, or India can play a good role in persuading Russia. They can influence Russia. This is the article is talking about. Okay. So, and see, many a times we have not explicitly said that we are taking a mediator stand, because our foreign external affairs minister said once that, see, it is a Europe's war. India has nothing to do or take a stand in it. But now the scenario is changing. We went to Russia, we got criticized, then we paid visit, that too after 3 decades. We went to Ukraine also, but still this article is talking, no, we are having some more interest towards Russia, but still we have scope. We putting the talks to the Russian president, and that can bring some actions. Okay, so this is the article is talking about the neutrality issues. The issues we have already mentioned, that the challenges. Why? Because India is having a lot of association with it, because Russia is something which we have a historical connections. We are seeking a lot of assistance from Russia, and in country in India there is only one nuclear this reactor which is being assisted by a foreign country, and that is by Russia only. So in all this way we have much connections with Russia. So India should very carefully consider its approach to mediation. So that is the article is talking about. The next article, sharpening India's anti-tuberculosis fight. So it is talking about how India's anti-tuberculosis fight is going and what are the challenges. And the main challenge is that without symptoms, people will have TB, and this people will spread to more people. So this is a challenge because it is a global burden. The data talks that India bears 25% of the world TB cases. This is the data you can write whenever this TB question or something relating is asked. And the challenge still remains, especially with regard to drug resistant TB. So there is a BPALM regimen that was recommended by WHO in 2022 for drug resistant TB. That can be made more accessible. That is the other thing we can do, and the modern diagnostic approaches to be adapted. Why? Because this diagnosis is very important. Some people will not have this particular symptoms, but they will spread to more and more people. Many TB patients may not show typical symptoms like cough or fever. Okay. And National TB Prevalence Survey 29 to 21, it highlighted that chest X-rays detected 42.6% of the missed cases. So 42.6 cases we are missing without the proper diagnosis, or they are not showing the symptoms, but these people can spread it. So this is a high risk. So we have to use modern technologies, use GIS mapping and health data sets to identify the vulnerable population, like whoever had this COVID-19 or such kind of diseases earlier. So because they will have some lungs issue, so we can target them. We can have a well standard set for them, how to cope up with this TB. So this is the article about. And the major thing we could do in this is the adapting a BPALM regimen and enhancing the diagnostic capabilities, which is these are the two things we could do for combating this particular TB, the fight about TB in India. The next article, establishing a carbon market. So again, because the development, the debate is between the development and the cost that is happening to the environment. So this carbon emissions for an industrial, a country which is growing in terms of industries, this has to happen, this will happen. So there is a balance between both. So this article is talking about the carbon market. So we had a system, PAT system. So what was this PAT system? So perform, achieve and trade. So this PAT system was largely focusing on becoming more energy efficient. So the companies were said to use less energy to produce the same amount of good. But now we are shifting to, we have to shift to carbon market. So this carbon market says that the company will have a limit upon the pollution they can release. But if they are polluting less than their cap, this extra they can sell it, because this is their cap, you imagine. But they have only polluted this much, and this much they can sell it to some other company and they can get the reward for it. This is called carbon market, to put it very simple. So what happens? They can trade this part, they can trade it, and they can get extra allowances giving to some other companies. Why? Because some other company, see the scenario is that if there is one company, actually if they are going beyond the threshold, or if they want more and more, because beyond the cap, if they want to go, so for these industries, the industries which are producing less than their cap, they will give here, and they have to give the money or monetary terms into this country. So in this way they will be motivated to reduce less carbon emissions. Okay, so now here the discussion is that why India need to shift to these changes, because reducing carbon emissions, or just reducing the energy efficiency or bringing the energy efficiency, only this will not work. Why? Because we have to balance both. India is working hard to reduce pollution and climate change. At the same time, the country wants to grow its economy also, giving them job, electricity and a better quality life. So for this reason, we have to manage between both. Like some other countries, we cannot completely say no to these emissions. We will have, but as per the Paris agreement, we have some national goals also. By 45% to 2000 levels by 2030, below 45% we will be going. So we have this commitment, but at the same time we need the industries to grow. So we are becoming this carbon market. We need to shift from PAT to carbon market, so that the companies will be motivated. Okay, so this way our goal to this carbon market is progressing. So the big idea about this is that finding a balance between reducing pollution and also the development of country. If we are solely focusing on reducing pollution, it will have impact on the industries. Why? Because industrial activities will not take place as expected. But we have to balance both, reducing pollution also, developing the economy also. For that reason, we need to shift to the carbon market system from PAT. So that was the article talking about. So dear students, with this we are winding up for today. So if you have any doubts with regard to any of these topics or any mentorship you need from me, you can connect to this number and to this email ID, and I will be happy to help you with my guidance and mentorship. So please do support this channel, please do subscribe if you have not subscribed, please do share the content and hit the bell button. I am not a YouTuber, but still I am requesting you to hit the bell button so that you will get the notification. So be happy. I hope you are happy. I am ending this session believing that you are happy and you are enjoying your life. That's all for today from my side. Bye bye.